They found Kim Jae-won on his knees in his own mansion at 3:47 a.m., tears streaming down his face, begging a woman in a maid's uniform for something more precious than his life. The most feared mafia boss in Seoul, a man who'd ordered 37 executions without blinking, was sobbing. Desperate. Broken. Security footage captured it all. Him on his knees. Her standing above him, one hand on the doorknob, ready to leave forever. Please, he begged. Grace, please. I'll give you anything. Everything. The woman who'd worked for him for only 3 months looked down at the king of Seoul and said 5 words that would echo through the underworld for years. You can't buy what matters. But here's what nobody knew. She didn't break him with violence. She didn't use blackmail or weapons. What she did was far more devastating. She made him human again. This is her story. 3 months earlier, Grace Okonkwo, though that wasn't her real name, stepped off Korean Air Flight 902 carrying 1 suitcase, a fake resume, and 3 years of burning rage. She'd traveled 8,074 miles from Lagos, Nigeria, for revenge. The calculated, devastating kind. Kim Jae-won's estate sat in Hanamdong, Seoul's most exclusive neighborhood. 20,000 square feet surrounded by walls, cameras, and armed guards. A fortress. Grace arrived for her interview at exactly 9 a.m. Mrs. Choi, the head housekeeper, was a woman in her 60s with eyes that missed nothing. You're Nigerian. Your Korean is excellent. I studied for 2 years. I take my work seriously. Mrs. Choi studied her resume. The last 3 housekeepers lasted 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 days. Mr. Kim is particular. He doesn't trust easily. I can work with difficult. Something flickered in Mrs. Choi's eyes. One more thing. Mr. Kim has rules. Break them, and you won't get a warning. You'll just be gone. Grace was hired within a day. Phase 1, complete. Her first morning, Minho, head of security, ex-military, sharp eyes, handed her a laminated card. Rules. Memorize them. Grace read them. Never enter Mr. Kim's office without permission. Never touch his personal items. Never ask about his business. Never look him directly in the eyes. Cameras monitor all common areas. Failure to comply means immediate dismissal. Seems simple, Grace said. Minho studied her. Nobody lasts here. The job isn't the problem. It's him. Perfect, Grace thought. A fortress meant something worth protecting. Something she could use. That first week, she became a ghost. Learned the mansion's rhythms. Jae-won woke at 6 a.m., worked out 90 minutes, had coffee, black, no sugar, while reading newspapers. Left at 9 a.m., returned around 8 p.m. He spoke to her exactly twice. Once, the coffee is too hot. Twice, I need my dry cleaning by Thursday. Both times, Grace kept her eyes down, nodded. The perfect invisible servant. But invisibility had advantages. When you're invisible, people forget you're there. By week 2, Grace learned. Jae-won controlled 3 ports and had politicians on payroll. He had enemies in the Yakuza and a rival faction called the Biko Gang. His wealth was estimated at $400 million. He'd killed his first man at 17. And most important, he kept a photograph locked in his desk drawer that he looked at every night before bed. Grace needed to know who was in that photograph. Week 3, Wednesday night. Jae-won came home at 7 p.m. instead of 8. Grace was cleaning the library when she heard him enter. Heavy footsteps. A bottle opening. Whiskey. The expensive kind he only drank alone. Grace should have left, but something felt different. Heavier. She stayed hidden behind the bookshelves and listened. Jae-won poured a drink. Then another. She heard him sit by the window. Then, so quiet she almost missed it. 23 years today? 23 years, and I still see her face. Still hear her screaming. His voice cracked. Some sins don't wash off, no matter how much blood you spill afterward. Grace froze. This was the man who ordered executions over dinner. And he was breaking. Before she could stop herself, she spoke. Do you know what it's like to have everything and feel nothing? Silence. Then who's there? Grace stepped out. Eyes down, dust cloth in hand. I'm sorry, sir. I should have announced myself. Answer the question. She looked up, met his eyes for the first time. Kim Jae-won wasn't what she expected. The photos showed cold, sharp features. In person, tired and slightly drunk, he looked lost. "Yes, sir," Grace said quietly. "I do." He studied her. Really studied her. Not as a maid. As a person. "What's your name?" "Grace, sir." "Grace." He tested the word. "Do you believe people like me deserve grace?" The question hung between them. This was the moment. "Everyone deserves a chance at it, sir," Grace said. "But not everyone takes it." Something shifted in Jae-won's expression. The armor cracked. "You're either very brave or very stupid to speak to me like that. Maybe both." He almost smiled. "You can go." As she reached the door, his voice stopped her. "Tomorrow night, I'll be working late. I'll need coffee at 11. Not too hot this time." It wasn't an order. It was an invitation. The next night, Grace brought coffee at exactly 11 p.m. Jae-won sat at his desk, surrounded by files, exhausted. "Thank you." Then, unexpectedly, "Sit." Grace hesitated. This violated the rules. "Sit. Please." She sat on the edge of a leather chair, waiting. "How long have you been in Seoul?" 3 weeks, sir." "Why do you really work here?" "Don't tell me it's the salary." "Nobody endures my household for money alone." Dangerous territory. But Grace had learned that the best cover is half-truth. "I needed distance from my old life. A fresh start where nobody knew me. Running from something? Towards something. Maybe both." Jae-won leaned back. "You're different from the others. They were terrified of me. You're not. Should I be? Most people think so. Most people don't see you drinking alone at midnight, mourning someone you lost 23 years ago." His expression went still. "Dangerous still." "You heard that?" "Yes." "And you're still here. Where else would I go?" The silence stretched. Then Jae-won did something unexpected. He opened his desk drawer, pulled out the photograph. A young woman, maybe 19, beautiful, with kind eyes. "My sister, Ji-won." His voice barely above a whisper. "She was 20 when they killed her. Tortured her for 3 days because I wouldn't pay a ransom. I was young, stupid, proud. Thought showing weakness would destroy my reputation." Grace's throat tightened. This wasn't part of the plan. By the time I paid, by the time I got there, he closed his eyes. There wasn't enough left to bury. I was 23. She was everything good I had left. And I let her die because I was too arrogant to bend. It wasn't your fault. It was absolutely my fault. His eyes blazed. I built this empire on her grave. Every person I've killed since then, I tell myself it's to honor her. To make sure no one ever hurts my family again. He laughed bitterly. "But I don't have a family anymore. I have an empire built on ghosts." Grace understood then. Kim Jae-won wasn't a monster. He was a man who'd become one to survive his guilt. Just like her. After that night, everything changed. Over the next month, Jae-won sought Grace out. Small conversations that became longer ones. He told her about growing up dirt poor in Busan. About his first job at 14 running numbers for a gang. About the violence that raised him. Grace listened. And against every instinct, she found herself telling him truths too. About Lagos. About her mother, who cleaned houses to send Grace to university. About her 2 brothers who dreamed of being doctors. She didn't tell him how they died. Not yet. Minho noticed. Pulled her aside. "Whatever you're doing, stop. I'm doing my job. Your job is cleaning. Not this." His expression was concerned. "I've worked for Mr. Kim for 8 years. He's never looked at anyone the way he looks at you. And how does he look at me? Like you're real. Like you're the only real thing in his world." Minho stepped closer. "That makes you dangerous to him. And when things become dangerous to Mr. Kim, he eliminates them." But Grace didn't want to be saved. Because somewhere between the late-night conversations and his rare laugh, Grace had forgotten to hate him. And that terrified her. 6 weeks into her employment, Grace made her move. She'd memorized Jae-won's office code weeks ago, 0924, Ji-won's birthday. She slipped in during a camera blind spot, moved to the Monet painting. The safe was more complex. Biometric scanner and 12-digit code. But Grace had watched him open it twice. Memorized the patterns. The safe clicked open. Inside, passports, cash, a loaded pistol, and files. Dozens of files. Grace started photographing pages. And froze. The Red Lotus Syndicate. Shipping routes. Financial records. Photographs of their leadership. But these weren't partnership documents. These were target files, investigation records, kill orders. Kim Jae-won wasn't working with the Red Lotus. He was hunting them. Grace's mind reeled. 3 years of research, 3 years of planning revenge against the wrong man. Find what you were looking for? She spun. Jae-won stood in the doorway, gun in hand, pointed at her head. His expression was ice, but his hand shook. I can explain. You're Red Lotus. Not a question. His voice laced with betrayal. They sent you to get close to me, to steal my files. God, I'm such a fool. No. Grace dropped the files. I'm not with them. I swear. Then why are you in my safe? The gun didn't waver. Give me one reason I shouldn't kill you right now. This was it. The moment everything ended. Grace could lie, run, fight, or tell the truth. Because these documents prove you've been searching for the Red Lotus for 3 years, she said, voice steady despite her hammering heart. And I need your help finding them too. His finger tightened on the trigger. Why? Because 3 years ago, they burned down my family's house in Lagos. My mother, Amara Adeyemi, witnessed one of their shipments, reported it to police. 24 hours later, she and my 2 brothers were dead. Grace's vision blurred. I was 19. At university, I came home to ashes and body bags. The police called it an accident, but I knew. She pulled a photograph from her pocket. Her mother and brothers, smiling. The edges singed. I spent 3 years tracking them. Every lead pointed to Seoul. To you. I thought you were them. I came here to destroy you. Her voice broke. But I was wrong. You're hunting them too. For Jae-won. Jae-won stared at the photograph. At her tears. How do I know you're telling the truth? You don't. Grace stepped closer to the gun. But you know what loss looks like, Jae-won. You know what it feels like to spend every moment trying to make the dead proud. We're the same. We're both ghosts haunting the living. The gun lowered. Just an inch. What's your real name? Grace. That part was true. Grace Adeyemi. And you really came here to kill me. Yes. But you didn't. No. Why not? Grace looked at this complicated, broken man who'd somehow become real to her. Because you became someone I care about, she whispered. Jae-won reached out, wiped a tear from her cheek. His hand shaking. I should kill you. You infiltrated my home. Lied to me. I know. But I won't. He smiled. Sad and honest. Because you're the only person who understands what I've lost. The only person who sees me as human. His voice dropped. Don't take that away from me. Please. Grace made a choice that would change everything. Help me find them. The Red Lotus. You have resources I don't. Together. Together we could succeed. He studied her face. If you betray me, you'll kill me. I know. She didn't look away. But I won't. Because you're the only person who understands what I've lost too. Jae-won made a decision that should have gotten him killed. He believed her. We start tomorrow. But tonight, we need to talk. Really talk. No more lies. They talked until dawn. And somewhere in those hours of raw honesty, the line between ally and something deeper blurred. For 6 weeks, Grace and Jae-won became a weapon aimed at the Red Lotus's heart. She was no longer a maid. She was his partner. His equal. They worked until 3 a.m. most nights, tracking money through shadow banks, connecting dots. Separately, they'd found pieces. Together, they built a map leading to the impossible. The Red Lotus's main hub. Seoul. Hidden inside a shipping company called Daewon Logistics. They've been here the whole time, Jae-won said, staring at the evidence. Right under my nose. Not anymore. Grace's voice was steel. We hit them next week. How? We go in ourselves. 2 people. Quiet. Get evidence the police can't ignore. Then we bury them permanently. It was suicide. They both knew it. But Jae-won nodded. When? Saturday. There's a shipment arriving. For days. They spent them planning every detail, every contingency. And somewhere in those late nights, sitting shoulder to shoulder, something happened. Jae-won reached for Grace's hand during a tense moment. Laced his fingers through hers. Squeezed once. Grace didn't pull away. The next night, Jae-won walked Grace to her room. Lingered in the doorway. You don't have to do this. I have money, resources. I can get you somewhere safe. New identity. New life. I need to see this through, Grace said. They took my family, just like they took yours. Even if it kills you, even then. Fear flickered across his face. Not for himself. For her. I can't lose you, he said quietly. I know I don't have the right to ask that. But Grace, She kissed him. Desperate. Terrified. Like a woman who'd been alone for 3 years and finally found someone who understood. When they pulled apart, Jae-won whispered, "We can't do this." "Why not?" "Because when this is over, we'll have each other," Grace said. That's enough. They made love that night. Tender and fierce. Two broken people finding wholeness, if only for a few hours. Afterward, lying in the dark, Jae-won's arms around her, Grace knew she should tell him the whole truth. About the sister who wasn't dead. About the video she'd received that morning. About the impossible choice the Red Lotus had given her. But she couldn't. Not yet. Friday morning. One day before the raid. Grace's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. "Hello, Grace. Or should I call you Agent 47? Her blood froze. Chun, the Red Lotus's operations director. The ghost who'd orchestrated her family's murder. How did you get this number? We've been watching you since Lagos. Did you really think you found Kim Jae-won on your own?" He chuckled. "We led you to him. Fed you breadcrumbs across 3 continents. We needed someone inside his organization. And who better than a grief-stricken girl seeking revenge? No, that wasn't possible. Check your original source. Officer Adebayo, yes? He works for us. Has for 5 years. He identified your mother as a witness, arranged the fire, and pointed you exactly where we wanted. The room spun. You killed my family to recruit me? We killed your family because they were inconvenient. We recruited you because you were useful." His voice went cold. "Check your email." Grace opened her laptop with shaking hands. Found a video file. Clicked play. Her sister, Zainab, the one Grace thought had died in the fire. Alive. Tied to a chair. Bruised but alive. "Grace." Zainab's voice was hoarse. "Please. Do what they say. I don't want to die." The video cut to Chen's face. "Surprise. Your baby sister survived. We pulled her from the wreckage. Raised her these past 3 years. Until now." Grace couldn't breathe. "Here's your choice. Tomorrow night, during the raid, you kill Kim Jae-won. 1 bullet to the head. Confirm the kill, and your sister goes free. New identities. A life together. And if I refuse, then we send you Zainab's fingers. 1 per hour. Until there's nothing left." The screen showed a timestamp, 48 hours. Kill Kim Jae-won, or watch your sister die. Slowly, while knowing you could have saved her. The line went dead. Grace stood there, the phone falling from her hands, her world collapsing. Everything she thought she knew, all of it orchestrated. All of it a lie. She'd been a weapon aimed at Jae-won from the beginning. And now the Red Lotus was calling in their investment. That evening, Grace made Jae-won dinner. His favorite. Set the table. Poured wine. When he sat down, smiling that rare smile, Grace felt her heart shatter. "What's the occasion?" "I need to tell you the truth," Grace said. And she did. All of it. The video. The sister. The manipulation. The impossible choice. Jae-won listened without interruption. When she finished, silence filled the room like poison. He stood. Walked to the window. His voice was hollow. "So everything was a lie." "Not everything," Grace whispered. "Not this. Not us." He turned. Tears on Kim Jae-won's face. "They have my sister. If I don't kill you by tomorrow midnight, then we save her first," he interrupted. "And then we end this. Together." Grace stared. "What?" "We save Zainab. Then we destroy the Red Lotus. Then we figure out the rest. You still trust me?" "After everything." He crossed the room, took her face in his hands. "Grace, you just confessed you were sent to kill me. That our entire relationship might be manipulation." He leaned his forehead against hers. "And I still can't imagine my life without you. So yes, I trust you. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe you will kill me. But I'd rather die trusting you than live never knowing if what we had was real." "It is real," Grace sobbed. "I swear it's real." "Then prove it." "We save Zainab. We destroy Chun." His voice cracked. "And then you choose. Me or freedom. I'll accept whatever you decide. But Grace, please, don't make me lose you before I even get the chance to deserve you." Grace pulled him close, both crying, holding each other. You already deserve me. They had 18 hours to plan the impossible. I go in alone, Grace said. Tell Chin I killed you. Show him proof. He brings out Zainab to verify. And when he does, I hit them from outside. Extract both of you. Yes. Jae-won stared. That plan has 1,000 ways to fail. I know. Chin could kill you the moment you walk in. He could. This is the man who murdered your family. Do you have a better idea? He didn't. If something happens to you, then don't lose me, Grace said. Trust me. I love you, Grace. He said it plainly. Honestly, whatever happens tomorrow, you need to know. You changed everything. You made me human again. Grace's tears soaked his shirt. I love you too. And I promise, we're both walking out alive. Both of us and Zainab. Promise me one more thing. Anything. If it comes down to choosing between saving your sister and staying alive, choose life. I won't leave her. Grace. I won't. She met his eyes. We save Zainab or we die trying. Together. Together, he agreed. But we're not dying. I have too many plans for our future. Saturday, 11:47 p.m. Grace stood outside Daewon Logistics wearing a wire. Jae-won and 20 men waited 3 blocks away, listening. She'd killed Jae-won 2 hours ago. Staged everything, blood, body, photographs. Sent them to Chun. Asterisk it's done. I want my sister. Asterisk. Chin's response. Asterisk warehouse 3. Come alone. Midnight. Asterisk. 2 guards patted her down at the entrance. Found nothing. Inside. Boss is waiting. The warehouse was a maze of shipping containers. Harsh lights. Salt and rust. At the center stood Chun. Smaller than she expected. Wire-rimmed glasses. Calm. Which made him more terrifying. Grace. You've exceeded expectations. Where's my sister? Chin gestured. 2 men dragged Zainab forward. Grace's heart stopped. Her baby sister. 13 when she last saw her. Now 16. Thin. Bruised. But alive. Zainab, Grace breathed. Grace? Is it really you? I'm here, baby. First, verification. Chin pulled out a tablet. I need to see Kim Jae-won's body. My men are at his mansion now. Should arrive in 3 minutes. No. If they found the fake body, if they searched. Grace stayed calm. The wire was transmitting. Jae-won heard this. He'd adapt. While we wait, Chin said conversationally, tell me, did he suffer? Test. This was a test. Grace thought about Jae-won. About the way he'd trusted her even after learning she was sent to kill him. He didn't beg, Grace said coldly. He was too proud. Even at the end, with my gun to his head, he just looked at me. Like he couldn't believe I'd do it. But you did. I did. Why? You'd grown close. My surveillance confirmed it. Grace looked at Zainab. Because she's all I have left. And you promised me freedom. You know I'm going to kill you anyway, right? Both of you. Can't have loose ends. Grace had known. But hearing it. You promised. I lied. It's what I do. Chin's phone rang. He answered, listened, and his expression shifted to rage. What do you mean the body isn't there? The mansion is empty. He looked at Grace. You played me. Grace smiled. Cold. Sharp. No. We played you. All hell broke loose. Chin's men reached for weapons. Grace dove for Zainab, shielding her behind a container as gunfire erupted. Then Jae-won's voice through speakers. Chun, reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. The walls exploded. Doors burst open. Jae-won's men poured in. The warehouse became a war zone. Grace covered Zainab as bullets tore through metal around them. Stay down. Grace shouted. A hand grabbed her hair. Chun, gun to her temple. Everyone stop. Gunfire ceased. Jae-won stood at the entrance, gun raised. Eyes locked on Grace. Let her go, Jae-won said. Calm. Deadly. So you can kill me? Chun dragged Grace backward. I'm walking out with Grace and her sister. You're going to let me. If you follow, I kill them both. You're going to kill them anyway. Maybe. But this way you get to watch. Chin's breath hot on Grace's ear. How does it feel, Kim? Loving something you can't protect? Jae-won's hand shook. Fear. Not for himself. For her. Chun, Grace said quietly. You made a mistake. What's that? You assumed I was the only weapon in this room. She dropped. Collapsed her legs. Pulled Chin off balance. Half a second. Jae-won's shot was perfect. Through Chin's gun hand. Grace twisted, drove her elbow into Chin's ribs, rolled away. Chin stumbled back, surrounded by armed men. "It's over," Jae-won said. "Your operation is finished. Evidence has been sent to Interpol, FBI, every major outlet. The Red Lotus dies tonight." Chin laughed. "Cut off one head. I don't need to destroy the entire Red Lotus tonight," Jae-won interrupted. "Just you." He looked at Grace. "Your call." Grace stood, picked up Chin's dropped gun, walked toward him. "You murdered my family, manipulated me for years, tortured my sister." She shot him. "In the leg. That's for my mother." Shot him in the other leg. "That's for my brothers." Pressed the gun to his forehead. "And this is for every life you ruined." Her finger tightened. "Grace, please." Zainab's voice, small and terrified. Don't become like him." Grace looked at her sister, at Jae-won, at the woman she'd become, and made a choice. She lowered the gun. "You're not worth damning myself for. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. That's punishment enough." She turned away, walked to Zainab, pulled her sister into her arms, and felt 3 years of grief finally break. Behind them, Jae-won's men secured Chun. Sirens wailed, authorities arriving right on schedule. It was over. 3 days later, Grace packed her bags. Zainab was safe. The Red Lotus scattered. It was over. Jae-won found her in her room, the maid's quarters she'd never really left. "You're leaving?" "Not a question." "I have to," Grace said. "You know I do. Your world. I don't belong. My world is whatever I make it." He stepped closer. "Stay." Jae-won. "I've spent my entire life taking what I wanted by force, building empires on fear." He knelt then. Kim Jae-won, the untouchable Mafia boss, on his knees before her. "Grace, I'm begging you. Not as a boss. Not as a weapon. Just as a man who's never asked anyone for anything." Tears streamed down his face. "Please. Stay. Choose me. Choose us. I don't know how to be good, but I'll learn. I'll burn it all down if that's what it takes. Just please." Grace knelt with him, taking his face in her hands. "You already are good, Jae-won. You just forgot. Is that a yes?" She kissed him. Soft. True. A promise. It's a beginning. They say Kim Jae-won went soft after that night. Started moving away from the bloodiest parts of his business. Was seen smiling more. Laughing even. Some called it weakness. But those closest knew the truth. The black maid who made the ruthless Mafia boss beg for mercy didn't break him. She saved him. And in return, he saved her too. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing in the world isn't violence or empire or revenge. It's grace. Grace and Jae-won married 6 months later. Built a garden of red roses. Had a life neither thought possible. Built from ashes and second chances. 2 people who came together seeking destruction and found redemption instead.
Thank you for watching. Every story leaves something behind. Fragmented Rain is where the next one begins. New stories every week. Please subscribe for more.